I felt that this was particularly appropriate with Phil joining the show today because it's related to music, kind of. Linkin Park singer Chester Bennington has a son, at least what was once referred to as a son, named Draven Sebastian Bennington.
Oh, no. Is it trans?
Yeah. Over Valentine's Day weekend, Draven made the announcement on social media that she identifies as a trans woman now and is in the process of transitioning medically. So I wanted to look into the heartfelt statement that everyone was gushing about. I found it on Instagram, on Draven's Instagram. It says, "Happy Valentine's Day. As today is a day to celebrate love and what love truly means, whether it's for a partner, family, or ourselves. Valentine's Day was never about self-love. I thought it would be the perfect time to show some love to myself. For a long time, I tried to be someone I truly wasn't on the inside.
No, you really were.
Ignoring it worked for a while, but continuously coming to the crossroads of being happy or being complacent was one I couldn't keep crossing." Okay, I just have noticed, this is a complete tangent, people just don't know how to write coherent English sentences anymore. That makes no sense. "In August of last year, I decided to take the path of happiness and being true to myself. I came out as transgender and started hormone replacement therapy, and it has been the best decision I have ever made in my life. I do have to say, I am very blessed to be able to do this, as well as having such supportive family and friends. I love each and every one of you who have shown me nothing but love and respect and see me for who I truly am. Especially Mom, you've always unconditionally loved me. I am so blessed to be your child. Love you to the moon and back. With all the support and love I've received, I've built the strength to love myself. This is why I'm choosing to no longer hide who I am. Love is love.
What?
Happy Valentine's Day."
Non sequitur with "love is love" at the end there. Doesn't make any sense. And then he also points out clearly who his abuser was during that, talking about his mom. And then he also, I don't think you mentioned it, it was written on this like really cringe, like faux cursive black and white picture with like,
Right, like what is this
it's
template,
just
bro?
really
A woman
weird.
would never post a template that looks that bad.
This is like worse than Canva, dude. This is terrible. Like I don't know where you made
You're like
this,
using
but-
your free trial on Canva.
Ugh, especially Mom, dude. Okay, like we totally understand your situation. Like I get that you're reference to especially your mom, but like
Now, obviously, almost all of
Gross.
Draven's followers on social media are fans of Linkin Park and are mainly fans of his late father, who died by suicide back in 2017. And it is crazy to think about how long ago that was. This is how I know I'm actually getting old, because I was chatting with Tim somewhat recently about Chris Cornell. And I was like, "Oh, he didn't even die that long ago." And he was like, "No, it was like a decade ago. What are you talking about?" And I looked up the year and I was like, wait, that was actually like 2017. Like that was a long time ago, and I'm losing track of time. But, you know, as time has passed since Chester Bennington's death, the legacy that he left just continues getting tarnished. And this is yet another example of that. To most people who are applauding this in the comment section, that probably would sound completely heartless of me to say, and I don't care. It's a huge disrespect and dishonor to his dad to post and make such a show of this. But I saw one of these comments said, "Congratulations, girl. I'm also trans and just a few years older than you. I didn't know your father, but I knew his music, and it helped me in staying alive during the years before I had access to HRT. Being able to witness Linkin Park in 2025 as a medically transitioning man is a privilege, and knowing that one of my trans sisters lives and thrives in the very family of the man whose art helped me not give up is so heartwarming. Keep shining." I want to understand like the mind of someone who could write out an earnest comment like that. most people wouldn't want to understand that, but I guess I'm a little bit loopy, and I want to know what your thought process is. Meanwhile, that the singer of Life of Agony identified as trans for a very long time, and only just recently announced that he is detransitioning and no longer identifies as a woman. And they've faced significant backlash for that. Of course. People are like selling their merch. They like don't want to be associated with
River
this band
Runs Red
anymore.
is still one of the best records to come out in the 90s. I don't care.
I mean, the people who are like skeptical of gender ideology and these things never boycotted Life of Agony in the first place. Nope. Because they're just normal people who listen to music that they like. But now the people that, stand that band for specifically the reason that it's the front man was a front trans woman, they're disassociating themselves from it.
I saw it
as a protest.
We played a festival that Life of Agony was playing in Switzerland, and Mina was up there talking and sounded somewhat feminine and was getting heckled. And for just a second, Keith came back and was like, "Would you like some? You want to go?" And like was ready to fight some dudes that were heckling him. And as soon as they shut up, Mina came back. So,
right?
Yeah.
It's
literally, I mean, it was like
awfully convenient.
If you've ever heard Keith or Mina talk, very Brooklyn, very New York, very strong accent, and. Like I said, like Mina was talking, and then Keith popped up for a second to lay it down, and then Keith went away, and Mina came back. It was hilarious. But I loved Life of Agony ever since River Runs Red. I even thought Ugly was great. Weeds is a killer song. I was a fan the entire time, and then when Keith decided to come back full time, I was like, good on you, because you could see I'd followed Mina for ages and ages on Instagram and stuff, and you could see the cracks beginning, particularly with the whole like the way that the LGBT lobby has been targeting children and stuff. Like Mina wasn't having it, and
Keith wasn't having it either.
Keith clearly was not having it, but Mina was like very critical of the LGBT lobby and saying, look, it took me a long time to be comfortable saying this, and now I see what's going on, and blah blah blah, and I was never critical of Mina. It was like, look, you do what you want to do, and the way that Mina behaved, I didn't have a problem with it. Just like I don't have a problem with like Blair White or whatever. It's like if you want to live your life like that, that's fine. I don't care. But it is nice to see that see people saying, look, the way that the trans community has been behaving is actually destroying people's lives and stuff. So
is he going by the male name Keith now?
Keith
or
removed the boobs and everything.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's intense.
Yep.
It's almost more horrifying than just continuing to live what you know is a lie, is like having to go back on it. But what's wild is about the situation is the media is still referring to Keith as Mina and refusing to go back. Yeah. They're like dead naming him
Hotel California, man,
with his female name.
You can check out, but you can never leave.
Yeah.
Once you've crossed over, it's like, oh.
And, I cannot help but think this identity crisis that Draven Bennington has had for these so many years has something to do with not growing up with his father anymore. Like the loss of a father figure.
Yeah.
And that could definitely, almost certainly, made him question like the meaning of his identity as a man and what masculinity is. And truthfully, he was abandoned by that tragic situation. So I find it hard to...
How old is Draven?
22?
22. It says 22 in the article.
I believe that was Chester Bennington's first child in 2002 with his first wife.
Yep, that's what it says.
He has 4 other children with different women, but... yeah, I mean, it's a sad situation, and it's like not even the only blemish on Linkin Park. I mean, I feel like what's happened to the band with replacing with the new vocalist, Emily Armstrong, that was unfortunate.
That's one thing, but it's not comparable to this, I don't think.
Well, you called it something interesting I hadn't heard before. You said they're femme washing.
Oh, pinkwashing.
Or pinkwashing.
Yeah.
They're pinkwashing these bands that used to have male leads.
These
and-
are
when we
guy
were-
spaces, all right. Can you females just please like see your way out of these places?
all-
These are guys positions.
All that
like-
remains had a female bass player from 2005 until 2015, right? We never made a thing about it because we didn't want to be that band.
'Cause it doesn't matter, right? The music don't matter.
Yeah, it literally, like
Yeah,
the conversations, like before, when we were talking about having, whether Jeannie was going to be join the band, we were all like, we don't want to be that band that has the female
Tokenize
bass
it.
player. And she was like, I don't want to be that girl in the band.
Nice.
And we were like, okay, that's cool. And so she just joined the band, and we never talked about it. Like, it was never a thing, right? Never, ever. For a decade, Jeannie was our bass player. That's the way that it was. There was we looked at her like a little sister, and we treated her like family, but it was like, it's not a thing that we're going to make a big deal about. We're not going to try and make her.
Sure.
She was very nondescript. She's kind of built like you, like little, and it was
You
hilarious.
said that I remind you of her before.
Yeah, you do. She never wore skirts. So that was a thing. She was like, I don't want to wear skirts because people would talk. People would be down front and they would say stuff, and because dudes are dudes. And we never did that. We were never like, oh, we want it to be a thing. And when when she decided to leave and go about the rest of her life, like, we got a guy. Was that blue washing?
Yeah, well, I mean,
So
it's different though, because imagine if you like died,
think
or
it's
if
the time,
you
though.
quit, and you were, I guess, if you quit theoretically, if you were okay with them continuing the band without you, I doubt you would be okay with that. If they replaced you with a female vocalist, that wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly.
it's true, but again, Mary and I were talking about this beforehand, and I kind of want to hear what you think about this search, because I'm not sure if you heard us or whatever, but because Linkin Park was not the Chester Bennington show, right? He was not the only vocalist. Mike Shindoa was
all those guys.
doing the rap all the time.
Yeah.
The band was not about this one guy. I feel like that's part of why it's okay to have the female in. I am not a massive Linkin Park fan, so I don't have an emotional reaction to them replacing Chester.
Sure.
I didn't cry when Chester passed away. I was like, oh, that sucks, But suicide is something that you tend to hear about in the music industry and stuff. That unfortunately, that's something that happens. So I wasn't like, oh, this is the worst thing that's ever happened. How could you do this? I was like, well, if she sounds good, and to me she sounds fine.
Yeah.
She doesn't sound bad. It doesn't sound like they're trying to shove it in there. Ooh, there's a $50 one there.
From Nate Parrott. Sorry, off topic. Can't guarantee Tim will see a super chat during Timcast. Ohio neo-Nazis were confronted by protesters on the cop body cam. You could tell all neo-Nazis were uniformly in shape with new matching clothes and face masks all.
Dude, that reminds me of that scene in Blues Brothers where he says, who are they? The Ohio Nazis? He's like, I hate Ohio Nazis. Or I think it's Illinois Nazis in the movie. I don't know if anyone remembers Blues Brothers.
Skokie, Illinois, probably. They probably said Illinois.
Right, yeah,
Nate
it's Illinois
Parrott
Nazis.
added,
Yeah.
I smell feds. Yeah, I mean, you're not alone in that. One person in the chat said, it's not okay. This is me calmly saying it's not okay to replace the murdered band member with a chick.
I mean... Yeah,
Wait, are they
he wasn't
referring to
murdered.
Chester
I don't
Bennington?
think Chester was
He was
murdered.
not murdered. I don't know if there are people online who believe that.
They might have been referring to someone else.
Okay. But I did see Chester Bennington's other son blast Mike Shinoda for replacing his dad with Emily Armstrong. His son Jamie posted on his Instagram story, said, people aren't having a difficult time wrapping their heads around the prospect of Linkin Park reinventing itself. They're having a hard time wrapping their head around how you hired your friend of many years to replace Chester Bennington. He said that they quietly erased his father's life and legacy in real time. with the replacement of Emily.
I don't know about that. Like
and they've refused to acknowledge the impact of hiring someone like Emily. Perhaps that is referring to the fact that she is a Scientologist.
Yeah, I think
which raises its own issues.
That's what I hear. That's what the people that are most vocal about the replacement, and whether or not that is actually the motivating factor or not, I can't speak for them, but that's what they say is the motivating factor, that it's like, well, it's not just that it's a girl, she's a Scientologist and da-da-da.
Yeah.
Which, I mean...
Valid!
This
Scientology
is like a little
not
weird.
a good reason to not associate with someone. I feel like, you know what? No, I would be friends with a Scientologist. I might not work with a Scientologist, like stake my career on a Scientologist being trustworthy, but I would be friends with one. Okay.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.